have any kind of fun inside the concert, you had to stuff whatever fun you wanted to have inside your pants. Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. I know you have tons of zillions and zillions of choices here on the internet, so thanks for clicking on this one. We're going to get right into it. Rush 70s versus Rush 80s. Of course, the winner is going to be Rush. As I turn this camera on, I really don't know who I'm going to pick, so let's just get through it and let's make our decisions. Let me know in the comments below what you pick, Rush 70s or Rush 80s. Of course, we were blessed with this band putting out music in the 70s, 80s, in the 90s, in the zeros, OOs, I don't know what the hell people call it, in the 10s, and unfortunately, it's got to stop there. Of course, Neil Peart passed away in early 2020. That started this crazy year off on a sad note. So, no more Rush studio stuff. But hey, what a catalog. I mean, any group would kill to put out a 1/16 of the music that Rush has. So let's start it off. The first one, Rush, early 70s, actually mid-70s, 1974. It's the only one to feature John Rutsey on drums. Of course, one album. It's more of like a Led Zeppelin kind of a bluesy rock album if you're not familiar with it. Of course, anyone clicking on this that's a Rush fan, you have all of these on LP, you have all these on CDs, you probably have all these on tape, you probably have all of them on 8-track, because Rush fans, we love our Rush. It's a great album, and it's a great way to kick off a career that actually kind of, like I said, almost like a Led Zeppelin type rock bluesy band, and kind of just went into their own Rush music, Rush sound. Of course, they got Fly By Night after that, another great album. Probably out of artwork wise, although we're not here to judge the artwork wise, I think this is my favorite cover from them, the owl on it. Presto Steel, album that doesn't get a lot of love. This one, if you watch a lot of interviews or history of the band, kind of was almost going to end their career when the album people thought, well, this group's really not going to sell anymore. Let's give them one more chance, of course. And that one more chance turned out to be 2112, which was my first Rush album. Picked this up at a flea market solely because of the cover. Way back when you would see, these big things laying around all the time, and I picked it up and opened it up, and of course on the back you got the guys in their robes. Crazy imagery there, and I would open up and it would just take me on a little journey. I was a little kid and it was just escapism. Great music has that escapism for you. And then Farewell Kings, Hemispheres, and I'm going to include Permanent Waves. It came out in 80. It was recorded in September 1979. So I'll include this with the Rush of the 70s. Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, Entre Nous, Different Strings, Natural Science. What a great way to end the 70s era of Rush. Now, the 80s, of course, moving pictures. Everyone loves Tom Sawyer. Rock radio, now classic rock radio, one of my pet peeves is they pick one or two songs from a band and just pound you with it over and over and over. Don't be afraid to play the deep tracks, for crying out loud. But Tom Sawyer, it's not my favorite song on the album. It's a great song, obviously. But, man, did they play the hell out of that. Every time you got excited, After commercial, coming up Rush, and you're like, please play something else besides Tom Sawyer. Nope, Tom Sawyer. A lot of great songs. Red Barchetta, oh my god, it's perfect. Perfect album. Signals. New World Man, they started to play a little bit on rock radio, classic rock radio, but it still never took away Tom Sawyer. I love playing with Tom Sawyer. This is a great album, too. Analog Kid, such good stuff. Alright, we're at Grace Under Pressure. Grace Under Pressure, I was in grade school, and my friend, his older brother, was a drummer, and he loved Rush. Of course, everyone that played drums loves Rush. And when this came out, it was like controversial because Rush had gone to keyboards, from the guitar sound to the keyboard sound. And him and his friends, I would just listen to them, sit in the room and just talk about how disappointed they were. Rush had kind of changed into the 80s synth pop kind of stuff, and they're new wave now, and kids today wouldn't understand, but it was deep. We lost our Rush, according to them. After that, Power Windows. When I went to band camp, being the nerd I was in high school, I had a cassette tape. One that I brought was Rush Power Windows. So whenever I hear any song on this album, it just zooms me right back to the mid-80s and me sitting in a camp full of band nerds. And that was cool, though, but everyone else was a bunch of band nerds. Hold Your Fire. Finally got to see Rush live on this tour. Tommy Shaw from Stixx opened up here in Chicago for the show. My friend and I from high school, we had horrible seats. And we were those annoying kids that just seat hopped. And I think we got up to about the 16th or 12th row, right in front of Alex. So yeah, this was in the era of a lot of keyboard stuff, but man, his amp was turned up loud, and we were loving hearing him play. I think we spent a good 80% of their set just about, row 12 or so in front of him. And my friend, to show you the sign of the times, actually stuffed the cassette player in his pants so he could record it. And then that whole week after the show, we're like, listen to this very crappy recording of the Rush concert, but it was just awesome. Way back when you couldn't take pictures, you couldn't do anything. If you wanted to have any kind of fun inside the concert, you had to stuff whatever fun you wanted to have inside your pants. Kids today don't understand that. Rush Presto. A lot of people, I don't like. I love Presto. I love the cover. I love Rabbit. I love animals. I love the owl. I love the rabbit. The Past, Scars, Presto, Super, every song on it. I really like this. Show Don't Tell. I really love this album. I think as the time passed, a lot of people reflected on it. It's a more poppy, I guess, and clean, but it's a great record. So there you go. The 70s versus the 80s. It is a hard choice, and as I'm thinking in my head, it's kind of like if you were told you're going to be put on an island or sent to prison, although sent to prison really isn't a happy thought. Let's say you're just going to be put on an island, or you head on a trip somewhere, and which stack of albums would you bring with you? The 70s Rush or the 80s Rush? I mean, you have a band that's experimenting, a lot more hits, some of them going a little foul ball sometimes, like what were you trying to do there? But really the group came to its own. 2112, one song per side one, and then people forget about side two. Tears, I always like Tears. Twilight Zone, all the songs on side two are just great. Fly By Night, like I said, just a great album. Here Again, off the first one, a lot of, I would say, with experimenting with the time signatures. So for your average music listener, if you want a verse, chorus, you want a chorus you can kind of sing to, I guess you would pick 80s Rush, because these, not really more pop, but a lot more cleaned up sound in the 80s. They weren't obviously concerned with hitting you with a powerful amplified sound of a guitar lead or anything. There was equal keyboards, equal guitar. Neil Peart, his lyrics, I really think, were easier to understand, I guess, in the 80s. I mean, he's amazing. He was an amazing lyricist. So in the 70s, a little more trippy, a little more traveling off to a far place and stuff. But I guess it all comes down to it. You can't go song to song. This will be a 8-hour clip. Can't go album per album. You just have to go the feel of the 70s Rush versus the 80s Rush. I would be happy with either on an island, but if I had to go with one, just because of the history, and for me, just because of 2112, it's got to be the 70s Rush. Let me know what you think, like I said, in the comments below. And it's not to say that I don't like 80s Rush. This is when I first saw them live. This is when, I was in 7th, 8th grade through high school. Those are special times-ish. So these are the albums that I kind of enjoyed during that period. But like I said, the 70s, because there's a girl in her underwear. No, just all the songs, all these long songs, The Trees. I never pronounced this one right. La Ville was Strangely Out. I tried to actually learn that one on the drums. I learned parts of it, and I was so proud of myself. Farewell to Kings, Closer to the Heart. You want a slow song, Closer to the Heart. Xanadu. It's always, I guess this just takes you on such a journey. Where these are just great songs, great albums. These are just great experiences. So again, thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos, and hey, have a great day.